Hello everyone, it's Oliver Harper here and I'm back with Rob Hill for another audio commentary. And this time it's on Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Now Rob, this film did feature in your book, The Bad Movie Bible, didn't it?
That's not necessarily an endorsement, but yeah.
No. It's got a rating of 6 out of 10 from Rob. And for cheese, acting, excess, ineptitude, and what? Oh, 7 out of 10 for across the board. So yeah, it's... As Rob points out, it's the first film, but completely amplified in every area of cheese over the top and hammy acting, I suppose. And less of a plot in this one, I think.
Oh yeah. That's part of. It's the effects are important as well, but the complete lack of any coherent narrative is crucial. That's a big thumbs up from me.
The zero plot, the better. Okay. So, folks, if you wish to sync this commentary with your own copy of the film on Blu-ray, put the timestamp to 0 and press play now.
Ready for it?
Yeah! I love this tune.
I know. I'm just going to have to laugh to myself for a moment because I can't help it. Every time I hear this theme tune, it just makes me laugh.
This one, start dancing. I've never heard this in a club before. Some of my friends have heard it in a club, but I was like, oh, I wish. But they did a little slight remix of the tune for the sequel. So my introduction to this movie was seeing a trailer at the cinema. I always thought it was Starship Troopers, and I checked the release date, and Starship Troopers came out in January of 1998, and this came out in late November of 1997. So I thought, oh, what other New Line Cinema film did I see that year? But it was in August of 97. I saw Spawn, and it came with the trailer for this. I went, oh my god, this looks amazing. And then when it did come out, it was only out for like a week in the UK. I think it only played for like a week at my local Warner Village cinema in Cambridge, and the talk of the town was that it was really bad. I think I went into Forbidden Planet and there's some kind of movie magazines, flicked through them, and reviews were pretty much 1 star out of 5. And so I was kind of like not heartbroken in any way. I was disappointed because I really enjoyed the first film, and the first one kind of ends with the, like, Shao Kahn appearing with the voice of, was it Dr. Claw from Inspector Gadget? The same voice artist. Can't remember the gentleman's name now. But I thought,
is it really the same actor?
Oh, it sounds just like him. I'll get you, Gadget sort of voice. Oh, you weak, pathetic fools. So I was kind of excited how it's going to play out. And what we're seeing is it's kind of like they have this in the voiceover. Had this brief moment of peace. The brief moment is, I don't know, 30 seconds before Shao Kahn kind of invades the Earth realm, and everything goes a bit purple, and the background plates, if you look at the background plates during this whole opening sequence, you can see this, like, these pixel lines kind of rotating, like it's like a 3D like element that's kind of rotating. But if you look very carefully, you can see the clear lines of the shapes. It's that goes in step with Lawrence Kashnov's points made later on about the unfinished look of the movie, because this was screen tested, and it was so positive, the screen testing was, New Line said, just get it out there, just release it. And they're like, well, the effects aren't finished, we're not concerned about that, the feedback's great, let's put it out there. Which, now I was saying to you, Rob, the other day, who was in this screen test and who was rating it really positively?
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing when you think about that. A bunch of children who are all hardcore Mortal Kombat fans. That's what a major studio based their creative decision on.
It's insane, man. And it probably goes in step with loads of fans of the video game have been invited. No general punters, no one that probably expects a movie to have a clear narrative. Just hardcore fans who want to see kicks and punches and special moves and aren't too concerned about an interesting storyline. It's kind of a very biased demographic to sort of judge the quality of a movie and how they could improve it.
It was an incredible thing when you look back at it. And normally when you hear these stories, I'm always a bit suspicious because I just can't believe that executives, because it wasn't the producers of the movie, it was executives at New Line, wasn't it, who made this call. I can't believe, despite all the evidence to the contrary, I can't believe that they can be this stupid. But apparently they are. I've always assumed that there's a real story, there's a real reason behind it, and that's just like a rumour that got out of hand. But no, that is literally what happened. They released a work print of a movie because a bunch of kids said they were happy with it. That's what happened. There is no, the truth behind it isn't that actually the studio was going under and they had no money to do it. They just had to get it out there. There's none of that. It really was as mad as it's meant to be.
See, this had $10 million more budget for a sequel, which is kind of normal, I would say. I mean, it's a mid-tier budget movie, And the first one made over 120 million, extremely successful, huge profit margins on that. And a sequel was put into work straight away with Robin Shou, or Shao, I think it's Robin Shou.
I meant to look it up this time because I've always said Robin Shou, and now I'm thinking, hang on, actually, I think it might be Shao. So yeah,
I think we are. I think we are both correct with Robin Shou. Was instructed by Lawrence Kasdanov to start kind of working on a sequel. He hadn't signed anything to continue a sequel, but talks were about, and they started finding fighters and stuff to be in the sequel and started planning things. And the script was kind of, I think, churned out pretty quickly. And as we famously know, Christopher Lambert and the actor who played Johnny Cage, is it Lyndon Ashby?
Lyndon Ashby, yeah.
They both read the script and thought it was terrible. But there was also a debate about the cost, like their fees for appearing, wasn't it? I think Lyndon had wanted more money, but I don't know if in this storyline, the original draft, that Johnny Cage was going to be killed off so early on.
Yeah, that's so. My digging suggests that was actually the reason why he didn't sign. Was because I was thinking, like, okay, so they kill off Johnny Cage because they couldn't get the original actor back, so fine, they'll just get rid of him. But apparently the script he read, Lyndon Ashby read, he dies in the first scene in that, and he was like, well, what's the point? And I think since then he may have skewed it a little to suggest that he didn't like the script, and it was obviously not going to be a good movie. But I think it really, it's the joke, isn't it? What does Beowulf, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Lyndon Ashby's Sofa all have in common?
Oh, I don't know.
They're things that major players in Mortal Kombat would rather do than appear in this sequel. Because Lambert did Beowulf, she did I Know What You Did Last. He had nothing else to go to. He just didn't want to do it.
Yeah. It was same with Paul W.S. Anderson. He was asked to do this sequel straight away. But he'd said he obviously enjoyed working on the film, but there was a conflict between him and Lawrence Kasdanov. Creative decisions and so forth got a bit heated, but he still had a good time in the production. But he wanted to not jump into Mortal Kombat again so quickly, and went and did Event Horizon. I think
exactly.
I think he said he regretted perhaps not continuing on to keep the franchise, the quality high, and not letting it slip with Annihilation. So
that's something you sent me a little an article in which he mentions this. Yeah, like he wishes he'd basically done what he did with Resident Evil and sort of continue overseeing it all to so he could maintain a high quality level like he did with the Resident Evil series.
Yeah, because I find that also slightly baffling, because the quality of Resident Evil movies, they're all so low bar, and you get little blips where, oh, that's quite good, or it dips even lower, So I think it's just sort of maintain his sense of creative control over it, and with this, Lawrence Kasdanov would get a lot of the same team really, and promote them. So the cinematographer would then become the director, like someone who was like a smaller production role become a line producer or something like that. So everyone kind of, which is trying to keep that sort of family kind of group where everyone's still together and they get more money, they get a better role. But I think he later admitted that he promoted the wrong people, and maybe they needed more experience in that position.
Exactly, yeah, and that is very much what happened, isn't it? Everyone, I think, to keep costs down as well. Everyone was kind of James Remar was Christopher Lambert's shoe shiner, wasn't he? I think on the first film, so it makes sense that he's playing that role now.
But I read like Lambert didn't really get on with or disagree with Lawrence Kasdanov, but they still worked together on Beowulf. So
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And Lambert was saying that he was going that it was only the clash, the schedule clash that kept him from doing it. Otherwise, he would have done it. I suspect they were offering him crazy money. But I wonder if Paul W.S. Anderson was also concerned by the budget. To be honest, because you mentioned it's a $10 million bigger budget, but there is so much VFX work in this. It's insane compared to the first film. There is so much and really quite sophisticated for its time stuff. The animalities and stuff like that. You know, they're going to have two CG dragons fighting each other, entirely computer generated. That's not, in the mid '90s when this would have been in production. That wasn't the work of a moment or a penny or two. And I wonder if it was just apparent from the start there just wasn't going to be enough money to do this.
well, if you look around the time, like the year before, was with Dragonheart. That was this expensive film that had one dragon, that was it, and this had like two kind of dragons at the end.
Yeah, but also two dragons fighting. Which, I've not seen Dragonheart since it came out. All I remember is a dragon in a field. That's one thing. I don't know. But then there's all these other main characters that like Darren McBee's horse thing. That was meant to be a CG character, and it is when the rest of his body appears, it is CG. Obviously, it's just that it only appears 10% of the time it was meant to. So there was just, and the same with the Goro woman. There's so many characters that were just the VFX for this must have been mind-boggling.
Because that woman, the character called Shiva with the four arms. I mean, the actual how they do her effect is actually really inventive at the time. I think it's some sort of, I don't know if it's a motion control effect, but it's like it's not your standard kind of optical effect, anything like that. It's my friend Tim has sort of looked into it, and he's like, kind of like, wow, how they did it. But there's moments in this where the resolution's extremely low in places where you saw the fire a minute ago. It looked like you could slightly pixelated, and at the end where they've got like shots of New York and Paris being cleaned up. It's just stock footage from like, I don't know.
I know from the 70s or something. It's really obviously dated. It's clearly not if your eye is as tuned as our eyes probably are to stock footage of cities and its age and so on. It's like, I mean, it's really striking how old it is.
It's like if this is from a work print or kind of pretty much from still need a little bit more fine tuning. Those little elements feel like stock footage they just put in as placeholders.
Yeah, exactly.
Not shot something new.
I swear there are shots that are in the wrong colour space as well. It's hard to be sure because they're going for this kind of crazy high contrast look. But and then they had that in the previous film as well, so it makes sense. But I'm sure there are shots that are unfinished in terms of like what lookup tables they're going to be applying to this. And there are also shots, you're talking about it being kind of either grainy or pixely because of them having to zoom in on shots. If you notice, a lot of the shots of Darren McBee, the horse guy, the centaur guy, are like that because the shot was meant to be full body. They didn't have the money to do the VFX, so they just had to zoom in on him, zoom in on his face and his torso. So there are all these shots of him where you just see his torso, and there's either something in front of him or it's really obviously been zoomed in on or something. There's very few shots where you actually see he's meant to have this huge metal tail. I think you see it twice in the whole movie.
Yeah, there's like two shots kind of near the end during the battle he has with Jax, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. But also, you got two, him and both from American Gladiators.
Yeah, which and that's a shit in joke as well because right at the end, Jax goes, he calls him Mr. Ed, which is quite funny. Mr. Ed's mine, and you think, oh yeah, that's their personal. Oh no, they've never met before. They don't even know the other person exists. Yet they're both eyeing each other from the start and like. Shaping up. It's like, what? Was there meant to be a scene that developed some kind of animosity between these two so that would make sense?
This film would make use of Leavesden for a lot of the set stuff, like here. They shot here before George Lucas turned up to do The Phantom Menace. So they shot parts in Leavesden, they shot in Wales where they had, the mud wrestling fight and some of the kind of like mountain areas. And also, was it Jordan they shot in? And Thailand.
Yes, yeah, because they go to where, oh God, I can never remember the name of the place. that's in Al Kazna. Yeah, the famously best known for appearing at the end of The Last Crusade. And unless you're a big Mummy Returns fan, in which case you'll know it from that.
Keith Cook was going to turn up shortly as Sub-Zero. Obviously, Sub-Zero was defeated in Mortal Kombat 1, and Scorpion was also defeated in Mortal Kombat 1. But obviously, this Sub-Zero is a descendant, or like a brother or something, of the other Sub-Zero. He's got the look of how he looks in Mortal Kombat 3, because he has like a red mark down his face, whatever. And he kind of turns up, does his bit, and then disappears again.
Yeah, I always forget he's in it, and for a moment there, he's really integral to everything, and then he isn't again. But the reason he's alive, Ollie, is, as we all know, of course he and Scorpion are alive, because only a ninja can kill a ninja.
Oh, yes, that is true, Rob, yeah.
Come on, you've got to get your ninja lore up to speed here, Ollie. They cannot be defeated except by each other.
There's so much slow-mo and unnecessary sound effects, isn't there? It's great.
Because they've got so many people doing martial arts who haven't been trained and have no real, understanding of it, including the main Brian Thompson, man. And I'm a huge Brian Thompson fan. The guy plays Shao Kahn, and you'll recognise him if you don't know the name. But he has these epic martial arts battles without a single shot that shows his actual body. Everything is just close-ups and editing, and the guy can't throw a punch or a kick, but he's this super martial arts star now, apparently, just because he's a big physical guy.
But it's weird though, because he's a really big guy. If you watch looking like Cobra or his supporting role in Lionheart, he's a bouncer, he's big. But in this, he looks more kind of, I don't know, thin or not as imposing.
Do you know why though?
Why?
Because his costume, he was cast at the last minute. He was a replacement actor. The costume was built for someone who was 6'7", and built. And Brian Thompson is a big guy, 6'3", and he's built. He's not a small guy. But there's an interview where he talks about it. He says he's meant to look intimidating, but instead he just looks like a little boy in his dad's clothes.
Yeah, he does. That's why he doesn't. That's why they take the helmet off.
Exactly.
Pretty much after the opening act.
That's another oddity, because he wasn't really meant to be seen, but the helmet was partly because it was built for someone else, was so uncomfortable and so heavy. He was like, I'm just not going to wear this all the time. Deal with it.
God. So the first Mortal Kombat film came out in 1995. So by that point, Mortal Kombat 3 was in arcades. And the story of the film was focusing on Mortal Kombat 1 with elements of number 2, which why we have Kitana in it, who is the sort of, her father is Shao Kahn, or sort of, he took over and took her mother as his wife, Sindel, who we see later on, who, the awful line reading at the beginning, "You shall die," quite embarrassing. And so by the time this film came out, Mortal Kombat 3 had been out. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 had come out. It's one of those Street Fighter 2 Turbo moments, more characters, whatever. And Mortal Kombat 4 was in arcades a couple of months before this film came out. So this film was already kind of trying to play catch up with the video games. So at this point, they're just focusing on Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. And there's a deleted scene, which you kind of see in photos, of Quan Chi. Is this kind of magician in the outer realm, or whatever it is, the nether realm which they occupy, but his scene was deleted. So that was kind of the continuation. There's going to be a third one, which was going to be called Mortal Kombat Devastation, which would never happen, obviously. Keith Cook said at a Q&A for this film, they did a screening, did a Q&A for an hour, and Keith Cook, he wasn't happy with this sequence, how they'd edited the fights and so forth. It was quite a cool sequence where you see him freeze himself and then he spins out of it as Scorpion fires his "get over here" thing. It's quite a cool little moment, but it's it's for 12-year-olds or 15-year-olds, as it were. the fighting is pretty good. You know, I'm not complaining about that. It's just you're just seeing stuff happen. That's the problem.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's high energy, isn't it? And I think that's really all kids care about at the end of the day. I think the fight scenes are shocking. I think they're absolutely disgraceful. This is exactly how you don't film a fight scene for me, but by my reckoning. But it is at least all dense and action packed, and I think that's why, even though it's an absolute piece of crap, it's still entertaining. It's still enjoyable to watch, even though the fight scenes are rubbish.
There's a lot of unnecessary jumping and spinning around, and
there are so many backflips.
Yeah.
I'm determined one day to count how many backflips there are. I forget where it is now, but there's a moment where they're just having a conversation and someone does a backflip. They're just standing talking.
Yeah. The best one is when Raiden turns up. We just spin towards camera, and it just literally cuts to James Remar jumping in front of the lens. Yes, it really badly cuts together. Yeah, it's quite amusing. James Remar, oh my God, like, I don't know why they thought they'd have him in the role. But if you think about it,
it's funniest casting, isn't it?
It is bonkers. But if you imagine Christopher Lambert in this film doing these fight scenes and this dialogue, it just wouldn't be happening, would it? He would never have stood for that or stand for that kind of ludicrousness. Because in the first film, he's very much like, he's there to basically tell you the plot, give them advice, and show a little bit of threat to Shang Tsung. That's it. That is really it. And he drops some funny lines and a bit of the Christopher Lambert laugh, you know. But in this position, I don't know how it. Yeah. It's
like fine. He's meant to be a physical character, and he's meant to do martial arts. He's meant to be a fighter, but primarily he's meant to be like a mystical sage type Raiden, isn't he? Really, that's his. Well, I would just wish I'd been in the room when a bunch of executives said, right, mystical sage, James Remar. That's who we want. That's who we want for our mystical sage. Nick Nolte must be busy. Let's go for James Remar. It doesn't make any sense at all.
So good.
No, that would have been worth watching.
So this scene was another reflection of the budget restraint, because it was supposed to be a giant, enormous prison in Outer World or Outworld, and then they scaled it down to a small kind of science lab, wasn't it?
But help my memory. Jax is in the first film, isn't he?
Briefly, at the beginning.
But it's only brief,
when she runs onto the boat, he goes, Sonia! He's got this guy from Australia, yeah. It doesn't look, you know.
And then he isn't actually in the movie proper.
Yeah, so he's from Mortal Kombat 2. Right. So that was, again, kind of sowing the seeds. Like, it's kind of a combination of two games. And, yeah, this one, for some reason, he's getting his arms upgraded.
Yeah, and they're not even metal arms. They're like metal plated arms.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Because it's supposed to, his arms got pulled off, right? Or,
yeah.
You know, in the remake, these arms get like frozen and then broken, and.
But they have to add this bizarre bit. Do you remember when Raiden first meets him? He just randomly and instinctively knows that the metal arms are not his strength. That his real inner arms, that's what he should rely on in a moment of, so, you know, and like it comes from absolutely nowhere. It means nothing. There's no context for it at all. And then sure enough, later on, he's like, "I'm going to do this with my arms," and he just pulls the metal off. It's like, what the fuck is happening here?
Now, one of the greatest things online, I showed this to you, Rob, the other week. On archive.org, you can find the website for Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And there's a plea from the producers, a massive plea. It's so desperate that they want the audience to understand that they've put all the special moves in, to look carefully at the film so you can spot what they've put in to honour the video game. And it is quite pathetic. You know, just don't look at the plot. Don't concern yourself with that. Just look at the flying kicks and the weird effects we've thrown in to symbolise a fireball or someone jumping across the screen. It is, it's glorious.
Were you a Mortal Kombat fan back around this time?
Yeah. Actually, well, okay. When Mortal Kombat 1, the movie came out, I was a big fan. But Mortal Kombat 3, I thought, I think I found, and also many felt, that it was a bit of a letdown as a video game. So it would kind of moved on, and this time 1997 is the PlayStation generation. It's all about 3D beat 'em ups. It was all about Tekken, Virtua Fighter, and people were still playing like Street Fighter. There's like the Alpha series or Neo Geo King of Fighters and stuff. But Mortal Kombat had kind of lost its way, and then Mortal Kombat 4 came out, which is a 3D fighting game, and it was panned. So it kind of lost its momentum at this point.
Yeah, because obviously I'm always a bit of an outsider when it's a video game related discussion, but Mortal Kombat was one of the few games that I really got into. But like you say, yeah, by the time this came out, and yeah, the first film came out, and that was exactly when I was really into it. It was around the time, it must have been Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, I think, the games, the two that I played. And I remember loving 3, but I'm not a gamer, so I wouldn't know. But then, by the time this came out, I was at university. And I'd been at university for a while, actually, and I don't ever remember playing Mortal Kombat at university. I only remember playing Tekken. Tekken was the fighting game everyone at university played. So, yeah, like you say, somehow it had just kind of... It was no longer the zeitgeist. It was no longer like the thing of the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But I remember it well enough to remember that, that's Cyrax. I know that. I remember that. I remember it well enough to remember that the character Smoke actually has smoke, for example. He emits smoke. Smoke does. Not in this movie, but...
He was like a hidden character, though. So you have Cyrax and Sector. Sector's the red one, right? And then with Mortal Kombat, you could play as them, but Smoke was a hidden character. So why are they putting a hidden character in the film? I suppose in the first
so the kids in the screening all went, wow!
Oh, yeah. It's like Mortal Kombat 1. Famously, a test screening, they wanted another fight, so they gave him a week's time to shoot another sequence, and they shot the Reptile sequence, which is fucking amazing, with Keith Cook as Reptile, and he'd come back to play Sub-Zero. So that benefited the film by having this hidden character appear. But in this, it's kind of an odd choice of some of these characters they've chosen to focus on or give screen time to.
Because also, I don't remember these robot characters being very popular. I don't remember anyone ever wanting to play as them, or...
Yeah, I think they're kind of replacements for basically Sub-Zero and Scorpion, because Mortal Kombat has that problem. Especially, it's maybe down due to hardware, the arcade board, like the memory. So you got a lot of palette swaps. So Sub-Zero, Scorpion look the same, Reptile looks the same. You get Smoke, another Ninja Smoke, and you got Ermac and what else? One's like Rain. Like Rain's in this, like another ninja, just a different colour.
What is going on, man? What on earth is happening?
That was her finishing move, Rob. Where she blows you a kiss and you sets you on fire.
Right. The metal robot, yeah.
Yeah. And now this thing, what this dragon comes off, that gets you into the other world, doesn't it? That's like a crossover. Oh my god, the explosion now when they escape from the laboratory. God, glorious!
Oh, that's marvelous. That was I'm gonna say that was filmed by them jumping off something and being filmed falling downwards, and then it was reversed and the camera was panned to make it look like the...
Really? You think that?
Something weird was going on there. There was something weird going on there.
I also... Oh, look at his tail. See the animation there?
There's a bit of tail, yeah. Maybe the tail's in it more than I remember. But the rest of him isn't, though, is it?
He talks with his hands all the time when he has to act with his hands a lot.
Do you know that guy?
I seen a documentary on American Gladiators. It was great, and he's in it, and he looks like a proper surfer dude, right? He looks like a barbarian. He should be in a canon movie as a barbarian,
Oh, he is. He's in Time Barbarians.
That's right. Yeah.
Which isn't canon actually, but yeah, he's in a bunch of really, really bad movies, and he's always fun when he turns up because it's a recognisable ham. They're always good for a laugh. But he's also in were you a Dungeons and Dragons?
Not really, but I did see the film in the early 2000s, which was terrible. Had the guy who played Jimmy Olsen from Lois and Clark in the lead. with one of the Wayans brothers as a sidekick, right?
Oh my god, I can't. I don't know. I don't. I'm
Jeremy
not, I'm
Irons
not.
is the main bad guy.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. Yeah, no, I have seen that. Yeah, I don't remember them being in it.
It's awful. It's awful.
Oh, God. But he was. He's like a massive icon, if that's the word, for a really small subset of gamers. Because apparently, I learned about this when I was working on something that he was in, and went down a rabbit hole trying to learn about him. And there was this video in the 90s called Dragon Strike. And it was I think it's meant to be like a tutorial. It's like how to play Dungeons and Dragons or how to succeed at Dungeons and Dragons or something. And it became like a cult, a cult thing, really cheaply staged like fantasy scenes. And Darren McBee is the main guy in it. He plays this like barbarian figure in it. So to a certain tiny little subset of people, he's incredibly recognizable and has all this nostalgic value and so on.
Was it one of those tapes where it's like a bit like Atmosphere, where you play the game with the tape?
I think it is. Yeah, I think that's exactly what that's what I've always assumed. There are clips of it on YouTube. In fact, the whole thing might be on YouTube. I've watched a bunch of it and I didn't understand anything.
Now Liu Kang's gone off to find this dude to learn his animality from Nightwolf, which is their version of T-Hawk from Street Fighter. And okay, in Mortal Kombat 2, they'd introduce other things outside of doing a fatality. You could do a friendship or babality, right?
Yeah.
So number 3, they introduced animality, and for some reason, the filmmakers thought, "Oh, that will be a good thing to put into the movie." It's like it's supposed to be a kind of a joke thing, right? It's like
exactly.
If they threw in babality, they turned someone into a baby. That'll be the same level of like nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the levels and the ways in which the whole them turning into animals to fight each other doesn't work is extraordinary. I mean, there is no aspect of it, conceptually, practically, narratively, thematically, nothing about that makes any sense at all. It's just, the kids will love this, but then they didn't even do it properly.
No, it just looks terrible. Like when you watch, if you go on YouTube and just check out all the animalities for Mortal Kombat 3. 95% of them are rubbish or just hilarious to watch. It's a joke.
Yeah, exactly.
There's even one fatality, just a fatality from Jax, where he gets really big and he stomps on you like Monty Python, like a foot comes down and crushes you. I mean, they're not going to put that in a film, are they?
I wish they had.
But it's always quite amusing when you watch Mortal Kombat, someone explodes at the end of fatality and there's like 5 rib cages and 12 pelvises fly out of their body. You know what I mean? There's too many bones come out,
Oh, we've missed one of my favourite lines. I can't remember exactly what it is now, but it's just before this scene. James Remar says to Liu Kang, "You've got to go and find this guy."
Yeah.
And Liu Kang, I'm paraphrasing. He says, "You must go and find this man." And Liu Kang says, "Where will I find him?" And Remar says, "You do not find him. He finds you." But you just said go and this conversation is happening because you've told him to go and find him. You can't then. It's honestly the writing, and this is one of those movies as well where it's full of those lines when you know exactly what the next line is going to be.
Oh yeah.
They're all just stock examples of dialogue that they've just picked off a peg.
Yeah. It's like they have a fight, talk a bit. Have a fight again, talk a bit, but it's like just to move everything along. There's nothing at all there to sort of any deeper themes. There's no character development. Like Nightwolf, he just disappears again. He's just there as a placeholder for someone. Oh, he's on the game, and now he's going to see this character Jade, who's going to appear. Another in the game. It's a palette swap. She's a green female ninja, basically, right?
Oh, don't show us proper actors. We're going to get confused. I always phase out during this bit. I don't think I've ever managed to contrate on it.
Oh, the bit they show like a weird like nightmare shot of Shao Kahn. It just looks so fucking crap. It looks, the grading's really bad in places.
Yeah, like that. That looks like they've tried to grade something in the wrong aspect ratio. In the wrong color space back into a linear color space.
He's hulking out, isn't he?
Also, is it like it's only just occurred to me, but some of these animalities are fictional animals, aren't they? So, it's like the dragon. I don't remember if anyone in the game turns into a dragon.
Yeah,
but I remember
Liu Kang does. Yeah.
Is it Liu Kang? Okay.
Yeah. It's actually his fatality from Mortal Kombat 2. This goes into a dragon that bites off the top half of your body.
Oh, okay.
Or in number 3, he drops a Mortal Kombat arcade machine on you.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Okay, right. So let's have that in the film. You know?
But this is all tying into the whole he's Bruce Lee thing, isn't it? The dragon, because that's apparently he's modelled on Bruce Lee, which I've never understood at all. Because he looks, Liu Kang's always had long, or not, if not long, then he looks much more like Jackie Chan to me.
Yeah, with his hairstyle, he's a bit more Jackie. But he is kind of Bruce Lee, because Mortal Kombat is basically Enter the Dragon, right? Mixed with Big Trouble in Little China. It's just borrowing from elements like Kano is basically a Terminator, because he's got the, the metal plate thing. It's like there's all throwbacks to different things, and Cynthia, like Sonya is basically Cynthia Rothrock.
Yeah, yeah.
And Johnny Cage is Van Damme from Bloodsport. Frank Dukes. So you can see all where the inspirations come from. But in this, Robin Shou has, he takes on a longer haircut. He choreographed the entire film. I think the fight scenes in this one.
Yeah, I believe so.
He's an absolute pro. He is amazing. I think he got kind of screwed over by Hollywood, really. I mean, he's such, Asian actor being a lead in the mid-90s. Hadn't happened for a long time in a big action movie.
Yeah, and he didn't. Yeah, he had an odd career, didn't he? Because he grew up in the States, I believe, and then went to Hong Kong, like a lot of Asian actors who grew up in the States, like Bruce Lee, in fact, couldn't really get a footing in Hollywood, so went to Hong Kong, made a few movies there, and then came back. But I didn't know this, but weirdly, apparently when he came back from Hong Kong, it was only a couple of years, or the year before the first Mortal Kombat was made, and he came back not to continue acting, but to start an import-export business. But he still had an agent, like until the end of the year or something. And the agent contacted him and was like, "They want you for this, and give it a go." And that obviously changed everything.
God. I remember when this film came out, the promotional thing, all it was her, this actress here, Irina Panativa, I think it is. She was on The Big Breakfast promoting Mortal Kombat Annihilation. The only actress, any actor sort of promoting it. Because she's like a famous model. And she did a few films, nothing really major, but I think she's kind of stopped acting now.
Gosh, she can't throw a punch.
And these weird insert shots of her, just like gurning towards camera, But it's all a trick. See, she's really a baddie,
Yeah, I don't remember the Jade character, actually. I don't. Mind you, I have no idea I never knew what the storyline was meant to be anyway.
She's number 3, or maybe Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I can't remember.
Because apparently Mortal Kombat 3 has basically the same plot as this film. Is that? Yes,
it is. That's right. It's where the Earth realm and the other realm kind of morph together. Because Shao Kahn's kind of broken the rules. Or like we see how his father has manipulated the rules of the gods to sort of take over without having, because they lost, didn't they? They lost the final,
the
Mortal Kombat to take over.
Yeah, as you know, I don't agree with video games having stories, so I don't pay any attention to them.
Because you only have the story, don't you, in the arcade attract screen that will tell you the plot of the game, right?
Oh, really?
Where you're waiting for it to, you can, before you put your money in. This film is very purple, isn't it? They love purple in this. But this came out, as I said earlier, with the time of the PlayStation generation, and it was all about club music. And Paul Anderson had the great foresight to know what was going on with, the music scene.
Absolutely.
And they'd carry over the really good choices of music to include in this. And you play games at the time like Wipeout 2097. Yeah. That had, again, the same type of music as this, and I think there's some tracks do get used.
Well, I remember when Mortal Kombat movie came out, it seemed revolutionary that they had a score made up of what we would have then called hard techno, where I come from.
Yeah.
It's really, really striking even now, and that's part of the reason why I think even the first film has those funny moments with that music, because that music is so dated. It is so of its time and so identifiably late night.
It's good.
But I remember Wipeout having, or the original Wipeout anyway, having an exceptionally good score. It wasn't just like techno. They had a couple of tunes from that first Chemical Brothers album on that Wipeout game, and they were awesome.
I think it's 2097 that had the sequel to Wipeout, which had all the best soundtrack.
They made the game too easy. The sequel, I remember.
Was it the braking stuff? You could glide around the corner.
If you bump the edge of the track in the first game, you just stop dead. I remember in the follow up, you just got to get better, Ollie.
I can't do that. There we go. I think we're in Wales now.
Yeah, that looks like Wales. I'm fairly certain I've seen Doctor Who's TARDIS in that quarry.
yeah, and probably Lister somewhere.
Yeah.
But they were freezing shooting this, and she did not have fun with this sequence where she said she looked on set where Robin Shue was obviously choreographing the set and helping him, big warm coat on, sitting there watching them. They're freezing their butts off.
Is this where I forget where the mud fight is?
It's coming up in a moment where she fights. Oh my god! Another palette swap of a ninja. You know what I mean?
Have you heard? I've got a feeling that they went to Michael Jai White approach. Oh yes, no, they did. He made Spawn instead. Would that have been this one or that? No, it would be this one then. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was approached, and I think getting the offer to be the lead in a movie, he's going to do that and not play a supporting role. But Michael would get to appear as Jax in his kind of short kind of movies they do later on, which are really good. And I think that kind of spurred people on to say, oh, we could actually do a new Mortal Kombat film. Lawrence Kasanoff, I think he still has the rights. I think his name's on the new Mortal Kombat films. I think it's part of Threshold Entertainment. I think that because Lawrence is the only one. Well, at the time, he had the foresight to play the game. Thought this could be a movie, this could be a TV show, it could be a cartoon. So he's the one who sort of handled all that. But what we kind of got was one great movie, terrible cartoon, a TV show which Conquest, which had Daniel Bernhardt in it. But I don't think that everyone raved about that.
No, it's rubbish.
There was a live show, which I can imagine is probably quite embarrassing to watch on stage. So yeah, I mean, Lawrence had come from James Cameron's company. I can't remember the name of the company now. What was it? It'll come to me soon. But yeah, he'd kind of worked on True Lies and T2, I think, and then set up his own company.
One thing I read about this fight, which it's hard to make sense of actually, because like you say, they were really, really cold. And it's outdoors, but apparently the lights, which I guess they're using, were drying the mud on the two actors here. So there had to be someone with a hose pipe off camera. Whenever the camera wasn't rolling, they were spraying them with cold water. So it must have been just awful. Because you can imagine as well, you've got a British film crew, two attractive women having a mud fight. You know full well in the 90s they're making all kinds of stupid comments and making the girls feel really uncomfortable.
Oh, for sure, man. But this is one of the worst visual effects in the film.
It's hilarious. It's just brilliant.
When he's punching him. It's like something out of the Power Rangers movie, isn't it?
It really is actually. Yeah, and this is where all the Power Rangers fights take place as well. They all seem to be in quarries and stuff. That's unreal. That is unreal. They still put all that effort into making sure the inside of its mouth was too brightly lit. My go-to little bête noire hatred of CG characters.
With CG artists trying to show off.
Trump made it all too light, all too bright. She
had no idea what Mortal Kombat was as a video game. She just I think she kind of like the name of it, you know.
Yeah.
And I think she auditioned, and I think she tried a few times to get the part, I think. And I think it's probably one of those things at the time where your agents are like, yeah, they're doing a sequel, you got to do this, you know, even you don't really have an idea what the hell it's all about, unless they kind of were familiar with the games. And as most of the actors are, Christopher Lambert was really, you know, fond of Mortal Kombat, the video game, hence why he took the part.
Oh, really?
But most of them, you know, had played a little bit of it, probably before shooting. That was it. But
I think she's one of the better actors in this, to be honest. I think in this role anyway, she's kind of just fine. There's nothing terrible about her.
She's a better martial artist, clearly, than Bridget was, you know, in the first film.
Yeah, she's more physical. She's also in, I can't remember her name, but she's the main villain, or one of the two main villains in that brilliant David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury movie.
Oh, she's Sandra Hess. That's her name.
Sandra Hess, that's it. Yeah, Sandra Hess. Of course.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., yeah.
Yeah, she plays Viper.
She's in California Man or Encino Man.
Yeah, she's like one of the cave women, isn't she? I think. And,
that's right. Yeah. But she hasn't had that many acting roles, which is kind of a shame because she's not. I don't think she's a bad actress at all.
No, I mean she isn't very good in the Nick Fury movie, but I think in this she's absolutely fine. Nothing. Yeah. I mean, considering we've got people like James Remar who are meant to be reasonably well respected actors. And he's just awful in this, isn't he? He's just so bad.
I think he's really like, this is top class phoning it in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's like in The Quest, he's quite passionate about the performance, even though his performance is quite amusing in it. But in this, he's just bloody awful. Look at that water effect around.
It's amazing.
Oh my god! Because my what I thought about this film and what I kind of read, or maybe secondhand information, was that they got these because they were trying to cut the budget or save money because of the location swapping, huge budget costs of coming to that. So they got this kind of cheaper company to do it, and who didn't quite have the experience. But it seems that they did get some reputable companies to provide the visual effects, but just as pointed out years later, this just weren't finished.
It's exactly, man. I've lost count of how many times I've said this, but one thing I learned in post-production is you can do anything if you've got the time and the money. And even like I started in 2001, and what you see now compared to then, it's only really a few like specific clever things that have really changed, like furs and waters and certain things like that. Otherwise, these kind of effects, these were all perfectly doable, completely convincingly in 1997. They just didn't have the time or the money. But that water effect is really weird. I've meant to look out for it this time, because I can never work out if it's CG or real, because it looks like really bad CG, but then you notice the scaling is completely wrong. It's been scaled massively up, which is obviously the usual technique when you're using real water, and obviously you can't build a set like that and have that. So I don't know. They've managed to make it look like it's badly scaled and not real at the same time.
Now, the director of this, John R. Leonetti, amazing cinematographer, shot some great films. Obviously, DP'd on Mortal Kombat 1. Now direct this. Now, obviously, because this film was so badly received, he wouldn't direct another movie for 9 years, which I think was The Butterfly Effect 2. Look at this! Oh, the somersault. Oh, it's great.
Yes.
With his new buzz cut. Love it. Never give up. Never surrender.
And why is he suddenly like Mr. Chipper Chirpy Smiley guy?
You know, fucking haircut, that's why.
When has Raiden ever been
being chipper?
Like the light-hearted gagster?
The characterizations are completely off.
It's totally, yeah. And from scene to scene, they change.
It's like casting Rowan Atkinson to be Shao Kahn or something. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you doing?
I wonder what James Remar was. I mean, we're not taking any legal risks by pointing out that James Remar had a very well known and well established multifaceted drug habit back certainly in the 80s. I wonder if this is anything to do with that. This performance is anything somehow to do with that.
I don't know, but I mean, I think Junior, obviously that was he's famously lost his role on Aliens due to his drug habit. and being caught.
Trying
by
to buy
police.
heroin off an undercover policeman.
Was it heroin? I thought sure it was cannabis or something.
No, I know. Well, I got the inside story on this direct from Her Majesty Miss Gale Ann Hurd.
Oh,
and
right,
there are
yes.
actually a couple of details that I was sworn to secrecy on, which I won't mention. But he wasn't just. But the public story is he was busted trying to buy weed. The true story is he was trying to buy heroin off a policeman.
Fucking hell! He must have been high when he was doing that, you know.
Completely, because he got really aggro with when it was then pointed out to him that he had to be sacked and sod off back home. He lost the plot. He was assuming that the producers would just make it all go away.
Oh, no, not Galen James, unfortunately. He'd be punished. Oh yeah, a big scream. I mean, the actress playing her, she's absolutely stunning. Playing,
God, the
playing
grain.
Sindel.
The grain on that effects shot. That must just be like some sort of backplate they've zoomed right in on or something. Here again,
Look at
more grain
that,
here.
yeah.
Look,
That's
It's
a
not quite
miniature.
as bad there, but yeah, that's definitely the previous one must have been a miniature as well. Yeah.
They must have punched in on that, or maybe that's stock footage from some other movie. Or someone shot it on 16mm film, going, "You idiots! It's supposed to be 35." Oh well.
Oh my
Oh
god!
my god!
That was-
That is like TV quality. This is like Sci-Fi Channel. That's the thing, isn't it? The visual effects are so Sci-Fi Channel of that time.
Yeah, and things like that as well. That shot of James Remar's back with like a time tunnel or whatever. You could have given that to a runner for an afternoon and said, "Make this look better," and they would have done. Seriously, some guy straight out of university. He's got Maya. He knows his 3D. He's not got a proper job yet because he's not good enough. But he could have made that look perfectly acceptable. A shot like that.
Yeah, man. An afternoon and a cup of Yorkshire tea, he'd have been sorted. See the grading here, like it's like when they put the plates together. Because I'm sure there's some. Obviously, we saw some miniatures earlier. But I think they're still trying to do it with some of the cities, kind of like moving around and stuff. They've done miniatures, but the grading's awful.
It's also blurred. The background is blurred, but it's not a focus blur. It's a resolution blur, isn't it? Quite obviously, they've. Oh my god!
Where there's green lights in the background when it cuts back to Jade, it's weird, odd lights in the background. It's very strange.
Yeah, the shadows are all wrong. The source of light is. It's a fantasy movie, you know. It's a lot of it is acceptable, but.
Well, the guy doing the cinematography is the director's brother, Matthew Leonetti, who's also another great cinematographer. It's that, do cinematographers make great directors?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's very. We've had two examples a couple of examples where obviously the guy who'd photographed Die Hard and Hunt for Red October would direct Speed and Twister. And then after that, he kind of lost his way. I can't remember the gentleman's name now. Guy who directed Speed.
Oh, Jesus crikey! This is how bad my brain is now.
Oh, Jan de Bont.
Jan de Bont.
Because he started doing some stinkers, didn't he? So
yeah. I mean, yeah. I suppose there's the right kind of movie for a cinematographer to move on to, and the wrong kind of movie as well. You don't want them going on to something character based, but you'd think that for a movie like this. Really, it's more of a technical exercise than a creative one. At the end of the day, I can see a cinematographer making a lot of sense.
I think what this movie would obviously the effects needed to be finished off, but obviously they need to cut back on the animality stuff and reduce the number of characters and kind of create again, because the first one works so well because you've got three characters to focus: Johnny Cage, Sonya, and Liu Kang. That is it, the ensemble, and you go on their journey. Simple story, and it works really well. And this one, they've got too many characters going on, and they have to include all these other ones because to try and appease the fan base. We can appease the fan base by actually just giving them a good story, including some of the characters. You don't have to have everyone,
Exactly.
and including characters who are hidden characters, had no backstory. They're just there as a joke, maybe. It's like, what are you doing? Okay. Coming up, we got Darth Maul himself. It's Ray Park, isn't it?
Oh,
right.
is it?
He doubles for Raiden. Right. Every shot is double. You can see clearly it's Ray Park.
I don't believe you. I think I'm going to be completely convinced that it's all James Remar. My God, those bricks look polystyrene. Crikey. Crikey.
I love how the actor's ass went flying towards camera then. That was great. Here we go. We've got some loads of backflipping now, haven't we?
Really funny. It looked like he was just hiding behind that thing. Like peeped out to have a quick cuckoo.
I think you've got to do a video, Rob, about all the flips in this film. It's too many somersaults and...
Yeah, I'm going to guess that isn't James Remar.
God, no.
Jesus, they didn't even do a face replacement on him, did they?
Oh, God, no.
Look, I recognise Ray Park's head shape. Seriously.
Look there. It's clearly him. And then it cuts to James Remar just spinning around on the spot. Oh, it's great.
Oh, I should have recognised it. I really should have recognised that was Ray Park. It's like watching a Chuck Norris movie, isn't it? Like you just have to get used to the fact that as soon as the fighting starts, it's probably going to be someone else.
I think that whole scene is pretty much the same as the fight between Liu Kang and Reptile from the first one. I think they're trying to sort of like have this moment again. It's like, no, it didn't work as well.
Oh man, Ray Park should have gone to Hong Kong. He should have been born 10 years earlier and had a spell of his career in Hong Kong.
Well, Ray Park, all he had to do was hang around this set for a few more months. He'd be Darth Maul, wouldn't he? So...
Yeah.
Look at that.
I forgot about this. Yeah, every now and again we just see these random shots of what's happening to the world.
It's all gone very purple. But obviously it doesn't match this stuff where he's, doing his big speech in the quarry. It's like...
Considering he's such a big guy, I'd like to point out that I think Brian Thompson's actually a pretty good actor. Normally, when people are cast for their physicality, they're not necessarily that good of an actor. But I like him in. He will always be the guy from AWOL to me, whose name I've forgotten now. That's always who he is primarily. But he's in the X-Files quite a lot as well. He plays the shape-shifting alien bounty hunter.
Star Trek as well.
But his role, in the X-Files, he's in it enough that he ends up having to do some acting from time to time, and he's really good. That particular role. And there's a brilliant movie. There's a movie that is, I think it's getting better known now, but no one had seen it 10 years ago, called Hired to Kill. Hired to Kill. Nico Mastorakis movie. Just like a classic, I want to say early 90s action movie. Just straightforward genre action movie. And they were trying to make him a star. They were trying to make him like the leading man at the time. So Brian Thompson plays the leading man. And the plot's brilliant. I think he's like a SWAT team leader or like an expert spy or something like that. And he goes undercover as a photographer to an island to rescue someone with a whole army of bikini models. So it's like all these bikini models are like undercover agents, and it's a really good little low budget, high concept action movie.
Brian would get to direct his own movie in 2014 called The Extendables.
Really? Isn't that the parody? The Expendables parody?
Well, yeah, I think so. A struggling and publicly disgraced Hollywood icon gets another shot at megastardom when he is hired to star and direct an action movie in...
I know that movie, yeah. I didn't know he directed it.
Yeah. He got 3.5 out of 10 on IMDb. But, it's probably a 7 out of 10 for you, Oh, this is Baraka from Mortal Kombat 2, and they got this mask on him. This actor was stunt performer. It doesn't even move. I suppose if you look very closely, you can probably see the actor's face in the mouth.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Oh my goodness!
I think when he kicks him into the flames, it's a shot from earlier when the other ninja got thrown into the fire, and they just reused a shot, so the character changes.
That is a single piece latex monster mask, isn't it? A Halloween mask. That's not even...
Yeah, man.
We got a reasonably close-up shot of it a minute ago as he growled, and the mouth didn't move a muscle.
God, this is all unnecessary fighting. It's just, yeah, you were saying earlier how the sort of the fights are quite bad. They are quite bad. The fact that, like, I don't think it's a fault of Robin Shou. I think it's just what the time they've been given, but also having to just constantly provide different fights every time.
Yeah.
To make up the runtime, because they've got no plot to really deal with.
Yeah.
There must be like half an hour of plot, right? Like of page. The amount of the script they've written must be like 30 pages, where every other sentence is just says fight, right? And then they go back to dialogue.
And then there's a fight. To be fair to Robin Shou and everyone, I'm not sure in the 90s, I'm not sure there is such a thing as an American martial arts movie, or mainstream American martial arts movie with really good fight scenes. The fight scenes are always horrible in mainstream American martial arts movies of this era, I think.
That character comes into fight, also because it's a very complicated effect for her with the forearms. We'll just squash her very quickly. Yes. That's it, you're done. You're out of the movie. But like Sindhel's outfit, it's like something from a Halloween shop, right? It looks so cheap.
Yeah.
She was a ballet dancer, I think. Her training was.
Really?
She can't do any fighting, but
I was going. Yeah, they often go with dancers under the assumption that they know how to move, and it is uncanny how often it doesn't cross over. Frankly, that physical, clearly, no matter how, being a ballet dancer is a physical skill I can only imagine. But you'd think that it would at least give you a head start when it comes to learning to do a couple of basic kicks or something, and it doesn't seem to.
She's got the Bride of Frankenstein type of hair, isn't she?
Yeah, well, that's to make her look convincingly a generation older than Talissa Soto when they're blatantly exactly the same age. Yeah. I swear James Remar didn't know the camera was on then when we just cut to him.
It'd be so good if he just like threw out a cigarette. It cannot be. Oh, really?
James Remar's had a real career revival recently, I noticed, when I was looking up to see what he's been in recent years. He was never in a good film in his life, I don't think. Well, he was, I suppose, but he was mainly in, like, decent movies, but not like great films. He was in Wedlock and... yeah, exactly, yeah, so recently he's been in Oppenheimer and Once Upon a Time in America, and another Tarantino, was it Django or Hateful Eight? One of those he's in as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Don't remember him in any of them.
He does a lot of TV, really. But I mean, as when I was younger, it was always like, oh, he's the guy from The Warriors, right? That was my kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I saw him in like The Quest and stuff. But he's always got work. And he's in Judge Dredd at the beginning. You know what I mean? But he's not credited in Judge Dredd.
See, that's it. He's the kind of actor who I know because he's in loads of 80s and 90s low-budget B-movies. And normally when it's a name actor like that, it's because they were in a couple of kind of, not necessarily classics, but a couple of big, mainstream, respectable movies. That's what gave them the name that they then continue trading on for the rest of forever. But yeah, Warriors is an odd one to have triggered that, because it's still a bit of a niche cult genre movie.
But he's generally a TV star, I think, for most of his career. Like, I remember episodes like Sex and the City, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's I often miss out on that because I don't watch a lot of telly. If he wasn't in Murder, She Wrote, then
he was in like Blade Trinity. He was in, you know. So I'm just going for his IMDb list now. That's not particularly exciting. Now this becomes a classic moment of writing where all the characters are in a kind of a circle and they all get a bit of dialogue to explain what's going to happen next, or someone's confused and one goes, "Okay, this is what's going to happen."
Right, we need a trigger for this expedition. She just sees a tattoo through a tear on his back. Really, we're going to hang the whole movie on that? But what if it didn't tear?
Robin Shou looks completely confused through most of this. He's just like looking at camera, just turning his head slightly, going, "Huh?" Looking a bit befuddled, you know, bless him.
But if it's your family crest, how can
Oh, I'm just looking at my notes here, and what I meant to mention during the Nightwolf bit earlier, the guy who plays Nightwolf is a Native American actor called Lightfoot, and he was the Indian in the cupboard in the movie The Indian in the Cupboard. He was.
Weirdly, with all that makeup on, I don't know, for some reason, he looks a bit like Brandon Lee.
He looks like he's CG to me. I know what you mean about Brandon Lee, but when he first pops up, every time I start thinking they've done something CG to his eyes.
No, they wouldn't have done that. Think about it. This movie and its restrictions, you know what I mean? That's too much effort. You know?
Yeah, that heavy eye makeup. Anyone with a vaguely similar like face and hair, you give them really heavy makeup. It always makes me think of Brandon Lee in The Crow. She looks a lot like Devon Aoki.
Who's that?
That actress. She looks a lot like her. That's another. I don't know what's happened to Devon Aoki. She was around for a while, being. Oh, she's in loads of stuff. She's in Fast and Furious, and one of them, I forget which, Sin City. Oh, I can't remember now.
Oh my god!
Watch out for the previs. It's going to get you.
It burps. Oh, it's so shit. Animation. Oh my god, you forget these little moments sometimes because you focus on something else where it's always shown on videos where Jax is punching the big dragon monster thing and think, oh, it pops up again. It did it again.
Doesn't need to be there.
That wasn't even in the fucking game, was it? I don't remember any of that. Yeah, they really don't want you to see the legs, do they?
No. It's certainly not when he moves or does anything like that. Although it does crop up at the end, doesn't it? I do remember him rearing up on his hind legs and stuff.
But in the game, that's Montaro, is it?
Yes,
he's ginormous. It's a massive like boss character, or it's the boss before you fight Shao Kahn, and it's like he's just a muscly dude with these horse legs, you know. It's like cut off the top of a horse, just put them in the front bit. Oh, it's really why do they bother? They should, like in the first one, they got the guys who worked on Alien films. I've got the gentleman's name now. To design Goro, it was a guy in a suit with the top half like puppeteered.
Yeah.
And they didn't attempt to do that with this one. They just had a dude in a suit, you know, for the bottom half with the legs.
Lazy. Lazy is a big part of disrespectful maybe. Because the idea of knowingly releasing a film that's crap because you know people are going to see it anyway, that's disrespectful to the audience. But there is so much laziness as well.
Oh man, yeah.
In fact, do you remember the Mylena is meant to be a clone of Kitana?
Yeah, that's right.
So that was changed. So she isn't in the game. She is a clone. In this film, she was meant to be and was written to be. But when it was filmed, they filmed it that she isn't a clone, and it was because no one could work out how to say that she's a clone in the script. Like there wasn't a convenient moment for two characters to share that information.
The actress playing another character with a mask on, so it's kind of like, and she reveals herself, and she's got like big teeth. I think that's I think maybe Melina. That's Jade. Earlier on, I mentioned about Goro. It's done by Studio ADI. Alec Gillis and Tom Woodruff who did the Goro stuff. Okay, coming to Final Fight now, I suppose.
That's all wrong, isn't it? That pack plate.
Yeah, they've added bits on the right there and left.
Also, the camera panning up doesn't match the pan of the perspective pan of the back plate either. There's a slight discrepancy. It just doesn't look quite right.
I love how they're posing on this big platform. It's like when you in Mortal Kombat, when you kill someone, you go up the map, the next character, and then the next one up. You work your way up the tower, and you got the sub bosses, and then the main boss. It's kind of like, oh, well, look at thing in his hands.
This is the first time I've noticed. I can't believe I've never noticed this before, but they've given Darren McBee fake horse teeth.
I know.
I've never noticed that. Oh dear. Oh, that's marvellous. Because centaurs, yeah, they have horse teeth. It's the one bit. Yeah.
You alone have the power to end this.
Stop! I do not want to remember you this week.
It is not weak to value life.
One final chance to
Oh, because they reveals that they're brothers, aren't they? Shao
Yeah.
Kahn and Raiden are brothers. It's like,
Everyone's got to be related.
it must have been said earlier. I wasn't paying attention, but I was just too busy laughing at the movie. The
The dialogue.
it's, yeah.
Oh, another one of my favourite lines that we missed. Actually, it's when they go in that like ball that runs through the middle of the earth or something. I can't remember why that.
You know, when it moves away, it's like 4 photos they've put together. Where it goes, it's like really choppy.
But Raiden says, "You'll be moving so fast, it'll be as if you're not moving at all." What does that mean?
What does that even
What
mean?
does that actually mean? I mean, it sounds fine. Sounds like something Raiden might say.
It's a bit like Ben Stiller calls West Study like Captain Conundrum in Mystery Men. If you want to go left, you got to go right. You know, if you got to go up, you got to go down. You know, it's-
cannot die.
Kiss. Go on, kiss. Kiss.
please kiss him.
Tongues. I want to see tongues.
Come on, Robin, act, God damn it! It's like, well, she's not acting at all. I think James Remars might have just relieved himself there.
I think someone's just administered his hit.
Right, he's gonna be done for like 4 hours. We'll come back later.
Lawrence Kasanoff, I think it was that interview you sent me, actually, from the book about video game movies. He feels the problem with this film was there were too many cooks.
But he's the chef, isn't he? You know, he's the main chef.
Oh, dear. But, I mean, yeah, it's like... I don't know. It's like saying the problem with the Titanic was... It's not that there are too many cooks. That is not the problem here. The problem here is that everything is shit.
Well, the story is like, obviously Lawrence Kashanoff's got his name on the story credit as well. It's like, if you look at the first one where Lawrence is involved as a producer, Paul's directing, and then Paul disappears and Lawrence kind of takes over more, and then the problems are more evident, you know.
It does sound like it was all about it being rushed to hit as part of the massive, ever-expanding world of Mortal Kombat franchises and so on. Apparently, it had to be in that particular spot. They couldn't have it 6 months later because of a cartoon or a TV show or something.
But I was just saying earlier, like, with the games that are coming out, they're way behind with the games. So it's all kind of playing catch up and trying to appease the arcade company maybe and New Line
And New Line do have history with this, like when it comes
Elm
to
Street,
franchise.
yeah.
Like, I mean, this is exactly what happened to Nightmare on Elm Street, isn't it? It's everyone stopped caring. It just became a cash cow that was there to. But they went there a bit too soon with the Mortal Kombat franchise, though.
I mean, this came out late November throughout the world. It's like, is this one of those? It's nearly before Christmas. This is kind of a summer movie, right? You know, really. Actually, no, it should have been the January dumping ground, shouldn't it, really? It's like, get the stinkers out. Oh, special move from the game!
Wow, yeah, he made everything go green for a moment. This must be so depressing for Darren McBee as well, because this is by far the biggest role he ever had. You know, unless you include American Gladiators. But as a movie role, and also he'd been in a fair few movies by this point. This is towards the end of his chance to make it, and he must have figured this would open all the doors in the world for him. And every one of them slammed shut.
For some actors, it did. You know, they were saying on this Q&A for Mortal Kombat Annihilation, it's opened the doors for some of them. You know, they got more work.
Who though?
I think it was Sandra Hess and and the woman who played Sindel. That's what they sort of mentioned. They'd got more work out of it. I think a lot of them still remained friends though, which is good. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done some of the animation on the back there.
Yeah, this is where they've saved all the... I mean, I think there's literally only a couple of shots where you see the actual horse part of his body properly prior to this sequence. They saved it all for here.
Oh, he made a double. Another ninja. God, so many ninjas. Oh, God. Two actresses who can't really fight having a fight. Oh, dear.
So funny. Delissa Soto literally can't even convincingly hold her guard up. She's a terrible actress as well, really. I mean, she doesn't do anything, does she? She just says her lines. And
She's very wooden. But it kind of worked in the first film, where she's playing this princess who's kind of trying to be ambiguous of what side she's on.
yeah.
But she's kind of helping Lou, but she can't be too obvious about it because Shao Kahn catches wind of it. But she's pretty stiff in this one, and it doesn't help.
I think that was an uppercut to the fetlock. Yeah, I can see Sandra Hess doing well out of this actually, because she handles it all with dignity. She looks good doing it all. She looks like she's at one with the physical stuff, and she can deliver her lines well. I can see her doing well from this. Yeah. But poor old Robin Shue didn't go anywhere, though, did he?
No, I don't think he'd. I mean, there's kind of a couple of big gaps between things. He did Beverly Hills Ninja, didn't he, the same year with what was his name? Chris
Farley.
Chris Farley, yeah. Then he had a massive gap for like 6 years, and he was just doing kind of. And he's a director though, and
Yeah, I wonder if he went back to Hong Kong at all, because he made that Red Trousers documentary, didn't he? About the Hong Kong stunt crews.
yeah. But he hasn't had an acting gig since 2015, which is odd because I never thought he was a bad actor at all. You know, it just
No.
maybe he's kind of aged out of the roles he was given. Maybe.
Yeah, and I can see him being offered a lot of, or famously not being offered a lot of the kind of roles that he would have been ideal for, like the character who's the martial arts guy, not necessarily the leading man, but the martial arts guy. But they're not always very big roles, and I think producers get it in their heads that once you're the leading man, they don't really offer you those roles anymore. And obviously, he wouldn't necessarily have wanted to take them. But unless there's going to be an Asian martial artist as a leading man in an American movie, which isn't going to happen very often, there's very little for him to do.
Look at this, the CG stuff.
It's my favourite bit. This
it becomes so grainy. Are they trying to they've artificially added grain to it to sort of hide
I wonder, yeah,
some of the effects? I don't know.
Yeah.
Look at it. You got to try and think what else we'd seen around this time that had the same type of animation and low quality. Must have been like definitely a TV movie would have had something the equivalent of this. Or maybe even like a commercial for a kid's toy where they just have you see it 1 or 2 seconds of it.
There is one movie in particular I can't remember the name of, which has like a flying dinosaur type creature, and that looks equally unfinished, because that's what it is, isn't it? It's completely unfinished.
Well, with this coming out on 4K very soon, as of recording this from Arrow Video, seeing this stuff in 4K resolution is going to be great.
Yeah, because I wonder as well with all of these shots with the visual effects in, they will have been
2K.
They'll have been shot out onto 35mm film at 2K. But I'm just wondering. I wonder if in 1996 or 7 when they'd have been doing this, whether there would have been any kind of economy available to them where they don't need to, because they'll have been shooting out these shots like every day and then changes being made, go to the lab process everything, send the print back the following morning. That's quite an expensive process. I'm wondering if they were doing it on 16mm or something like that. If it would even have been possible. I don't know if it would. If it was, it would have been a very narrow window when that was ever done. I don't think so. I'm just kind of trying to guess why it's so grainy.
Do you think it would have been done exported on like a high resolution tape, like videotape, like a D1 tape, and then they've artificially put grain on it?
And yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it may have gone through a subsequent process afterwards. Even I just can't work out why visual effects, why CGI is grainy. Unless it is artificially added on purpose.
Yeah, I think that definitely feels been added. I think in post to sort of make it kind of, because it would have all been clean, so they would have just grained it up, probably to hide stuff, maybe to make it look somewhat less shit.
But then also, if it is, I mean, if it is apparently a work print. What would have been described, what technically would have been called a work print. So. Would they even have gone... when they filmed out those effects shots, they wouldn't have known that they were going to be finalised. They wouldn't have known they were final. So they wouldn't have been trying to hide anything. It would have been important to see exactly what all the problems are, because that's how the VFX artists will make them better. So I wonder if they didn't even know when they were filming out that was it. It was done, and they'd never get to finish their work. It must be so frustrating for anyone who'd spent months working on a particular sequence to just be told, this is how your work is always going to look now.
Well, to compliment your future video, mate, on Mortal Kombat flips, here we go. Finishes up with a flip. When he does the flip, right?
Which causes a flip.
When you play close attention, you see this. The camera just kind of zooms in on this studio light for a brief second. It's so weird.
Oh, that folding up box effect. Where the hell did that come from? Whose idea was that?
Oh, so that seems like a great plug-in they've found, haven't they?
Yeah, I bet that's it, you know. I wonder if that's like a really early plug-in.
Oh, the animation when the dragon disappears. It's all just so choppy. Look at the background. What's going on there?
What? Yeah, that is early 80s stock footage.
Jesus.
At best.
What's it just to grab like the Eiffel Tower from Superman 2? It's just like flying up it, you know? or the view to a kill, you know.
In all seriousness, as well, I've got a theory that that the emulsion used on a certain batch of negatives from like the late 70s, early 80s, that was being used around then, gives all that footage a kind of like there's a certain warmth, especially to like outdoor footage in natural light. And I swear that those shots of New York have that vibe. I mean, I must be imagining it, because you can't be able to tell something like that just by looking. But I swear that's what I think. That's what's going on there.
I swear that's what I think. I love that. I know James Cameron had a beef with the is it Kodak film at the time? The new kind of film they brought out, which was like really grainy, that he wasn't happy with. But then Ghostbusters used the same film stock, and that has a kind of excessive grain to it, which doesn't.
Yeah, no, the people who actually, unlike me, really know what they're talking about can go on for hours in such detail about the difference between certain emulsions. Like you won't, for example, when I was in post-production, every project had a certain set of film negatives that you used, because everything would have to come from the same batch. Like it would be exactly the same Kodak product, exactly the same to any, no normal person would be able to tell the difference. But for the sake of these finite details that people obsess over in colour science.
Now finally they can have a break, and he can get busy with Katana. Maybe this whole time he's just gone off her. Oh, I'm not interested anymore. You brought your mum along with you? Oh God, he's a dig at that.
That looks like a plug-in as well.
Yeah, all plug-ins.
It can't be back in the 90s. It does look like something that might have been in some teenager's show reel. And because at this time, the people who were probably people in their 30s, for example, doing VFX in the mid 90s, would have known half as much as the kids coming out of university. So there's always been this strange dynamic.
Oh, sure, man, for sure. And this film does end with another great tune as well. And again, this all the film's faults on the soundtrack side of things, they've absolutely nailed it. You know, I bought the album when it came out. I was like, get the album. You know, it was really good. Good tracks.
Did you get a glow in the dark whistle to go with it?
Oh, no. I didn't go to that extreme with my clubbing, but I was foolish and bought the DTS version of Mortal Kombat Annihilation on Laserdisc. The sound mix is bonkers and aggressive, but the film's trash, obviously, as I've just talked about it the last 90 minutes. But man, they really did a great job with the sound design and the sound mixing. It's I think that's why they put all their money in at the end. To sod the effects, just get that sound pumping. You know,
what's really important here is the techno. We don't need people who know martial arts. We don't.
Because the first one, the album sold extremely well, so they knew that was a big market there, and they were going to repeat it again with this. And I'm sure the album probably sold quite well, even if you didn't bother seeing the film.
Like I know I said this earlier, but it really is worth emphasising just how revolutionary it was to hear music like this in a movie. It was unthinkable at the time to me.
Yeah. I don't think I said earlier, I didn't see this theatrically. I missed it, didn't I? I saw it on VHS in '98, and it was like... it's that thing when I missed Batman and Robin at the cinema. I didn't see it, because I heard on the grapevine and through word of mouth that it was a stinker, right? And I was like, George Clooney's Batman? No. He's the guy from Dusk Till Dawn. He's not Batman, right? But I had the same reaction when he saw both those movies. Just like, oh... what a waste of time that was. I'm not getting that 2 hours back or 90 minutes back. It was that kind of weird period, which I may have discussed before in my other retrospectives, that kind of the late 90s had quite a few big theatrical movies that are mostly stinkers.
Yeah.
A lot of bad choices going on.
Yeah. It was the end of an age, I feel.
The third age. You know, and it's just that whopper cast with like hardly anyone really having much screen time. Like Chris Conrad as Johnny Cage, you know, he kind of looked a little bit like Lyndon Ashby, you know what I mean, but not entirely. But
Ray Park actually gets an acting credit there. That's unusual, isn't it?
Raiden double, because that would be under stunts, right?
Yeah, normally it would be a. That's a very few stuntmen being credited, or stunt people being credited there as well.
That was it. That was another little story, because mentioned earlier with Lawrence Kasanoff promoting people, right? And one of the stuntmen, he was really impressive with Mortal Kombat 1, was going to come back for number 2, right? And he said, I'm going to give you a bigger role, like play one of the main characters, right? One of the sort of supporting, like, I don't know, one of the ninjas or something. And he got a bit too big for his boots really quickly. So once he gave him this kind of, you know, potentially speaking role, he wanted all the perks that come with being an actor. So getting the same hotel room, the same this and that. And he was like, no, not having that attitude. He got him off set the following day. He was gone, you know.
There's at least a 50% chance that was the guy's agent, I reckon.
Oh, mate.
Telling him to, oh, you're a star now, you need to...
And it all backfired completely.
There's a name for it, or there used to be a name for it in Hollywood. I haven't heard it for years, but it used to be referred to as, oh God, what's his blood name? George Lazenby syndrome.
Oh, right.
Because apparently George Lazenby was just, like, the second he was cast as James Bond, he just assumed that the world should treat him like he's a huge star. And I think it was the director of On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Oh, Peter Hunt.
I think it was him anyway. If not, someone, some similar figure came up to him at the wrap party and was like, "Why are you on your own?" And he was like, "No one will talk to me. No one will, everyone thinks I'm an arsehole." And the guy said, "Well, it's because you've got to earn that status. You don't just automatically, because you're starring in a movie, you're not automatically now as respected as Sean Connery or whatever. You have to earn that respect from everybody." And Lazenby just couldn't understand that, or just didn't understand that. Hence, it became known as George Lazenby syndrome.
Oh, never knew that.
And within 3 years, he was in Hong Kong, starring in B movies.
Yay! And it's a shame he never got to be in Game of Death, which was going to be his thing, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Apparently,
so he
anyway.
says. Yeah, so he
he
says.
Yeah.
I think it's quite likely though, because he genuinely was really good friends with Bruce Lee, and Bruce was filling Game of Death with his friends at the end of the day.
That was true. Yeah. But you can see, I mean, this movie pretty much put the brakes on any future Mortal Kombat properties. It took 20 years nearly for them to bring it back to the big screen. And there was always talk there's going to be a third one to make up for the bad efforts on Mortal Kombat Annihilation with Devastation. But I think the Mortal Kombat kind of bubble had burst at that point, as we'd mentioned earlier, where other video games had come out and everyone sort of jumped onto them. Mortal Kombat would have come back in its own forms over the years, but I think there was a sort of quieting off with them, which is,
has there ever been, because there's all these different Mortal Kombat franchises or whatever you want to call it, has Street Fighter ever had, all I'm aware of with Street Fighter is the Van Damme movie and the new one, and the anime.
Well, there's the anime, then there was kind of like a animated series, then there was a Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li movie.
Oh, I did. I've seen that. I've completely forgot about that. Yeah,
which has funny. Robin Shou in it, who trains Chun-Li. So, as you were saying earlier, where him getting other roles, where he'd be playing some sort of a mentor, that's kind of where he got deployed.
Yeah, that's a good role, because Hollywood is quite happy to have an Asian mentor, certainly compared to an Asian leading man. And so, if he's old enough to play that now, that could be a good little niche for him.
But he still looks pretty, good for his age. He's aged well. So and he's probably still really fit and flexible. So it's just no one's really given him that kind of opportunity again. Surprised he hasn't been, like in the Scott Adkins movie as a supporting player or as a bad guy or something.
Or a movie or a series like Warrior. The Bruce Lee TV series, there's an awful lot of roles available in that for Chinese men his age with his skill set. Maybe we're assuming he wanted to carry on acting. Maybe.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. We're presuming that he wants to do that. He may have just gone, I'm not interested anymore. Maybe he's found some other way to make money and.
Yeah, he was planning to he had given up and to do something different just before Mortal Kombat happened. So why would he not do the same after?
Imports and exports.
Export, yeah.
Art Vanderlei.
I love it when people say they want to start an import-export business. What, people, drugs?
Yeah, what you exactly? Go straight to your head. What are you thinking about?
It just immediately sounds sinister when you talk about import-export.
I mean, these credits are super slow. It's like the end credits for RoboCop 3. They were painfully slow. Flat Earth Productions. There's again, like the first film had loads of companies doing different aspects of the film, which Rob, you worked on for years in a visual effects company where that company would handle this type of effects maybe, then another company would do something else, and they specialised in. And again, this is like loads of companies. I mean, it'd be quite amusing if the company you worked for pops up in here somewhere. They may have handled 2 shots or something because they couldn't afford them, maybe.
Yeah, it should take 12 seconds for an end roller to go from the bottom to the top of the screen.
Really?
That's what I was always told, because I've made a bunch of these back in the day.
Oh yeah, because you have to make sure that the frame rate was correct and things like that.
Yeah, it's surprisingly technical, because if it's you end up with strobing and all kinds of problems, and you've always got an idiot client saying things like, "Can it go slower but be faster?" That was one guy I remember asking me to do that.
Can it go faster? That's ridiculous.
Oh, it was Megadeth. There was a stomping guitar tune at one point, and I thought this sounds out of place compared to everything else in here, but it was Megadeth, was it?
Good old Megadeth. Because the first Mortal Kombat film ends with, when it has New Line Cinema logo, has that kind of sound effects from the video game. This one I don't even bother with. Like, no, we're not going to make the little extra little efforts to sort of, nods to the game.
I wanted to look into it and check, because I was wondering if when Scorpion says, "Get over here,"
Yeah.
that was so similar. I wondered if it was actually like they'd lifted the sample from the game, because the character doesn't say anything else, do they? Is that actually taken from the
same
game?
guy who worked on the game who does the voices, he did that
Right.
again. Like,
Oh, so a different recording, but the same guy.
I believe
probably.
so. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's different recording, but it's same guy saying "Get over here" and "suckers" when he like disappears. I'm like, what? But yeah.
But it's really forced whenever every time they do that. It seems so, especially as he can't even say it when he says it in the game, because he fails to capture Sub-Zero and pull him in. As I remember it in the game, he says "Get over here" after he's shot you and as he's pulling you towards him.
As he pulls you in, he says "Get over here."
But therefore, the phrase "get over here" makes sense. Saying it before that happened, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, he uses it in the new Mortal Kombat. He says "Get over here," but the voice of the actor doesn't sound like the "Get over here."
I think that's better, to be honest. I find it really distracting if it's like using images directly from the game. Surely you want to kind of reinterpret all these things more appropriately and suitably for the conditions, for the medium, for the actors involved.
Well, it just feels like to me it felt out of place, but it's just there as for the fans. It's the same voice saying "Get over here."
Yeah, all the kids would have cheered.
Exactly. Yeah, he said a thing. Yeah. I know. Yeah, remember.
And that's who it's being made for at the end of the day as well. I'd have cheered, and yeah, what's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I cheered through all of Mortal Kombat 1 when I first saw that, and seeing a crusty VHS tape of this in '98, I was not cheering. I was booing, boo hiss, as it were. Well, folks, that's the end of the commentary. Hope you enjoyed it, and me and Rob will be back very soon with some other wafflings on other movies. But yeah, I don't think I'm sure we've got something else planned with Nick Helm as well, some other series of stuff we've discussed, but we'll announce those in the coming weeks. Okay, folks, take care, and goodbye for now.
Goodbye for now.